Hi everyone, today we're going to learn how to create this Karel martens-inspired line dithering effect in touchdesigner. I've always been a huge fan of his work and wondering how I can recreate this in touchdesigner. And then the other day I was building the dithering effect component and found a way to recreate it. So if you're also interested in how it's being built, let's continue. And also, I've got the book from him, and by looking at all those patterns, you can get inspired and create lots of the similar kind by using the technique we are learning today. So I'm excited to see what we're gonna make together. Let's get started. I will break down the core techniques for this effect, show you different variations you can create, and we can then build the entire network together. By the end of this video, you will be able to turn any image or video into Karel Martens inspired line composition or different type of other shapes, and you will understanding exactly how every part of the network works. Let's get started. Before we dive into the building part, I want to spend 2 minutes talking you through the core principle. If you understand these three things, you won't be just copying what I do. You are able to modify and expand this effect into your own use case. And if you want more ready-to-use visual assets or auto-reactive project files, you can find it in my Patreon, link down below. Alright, back to it. This effect boils down to one simple idea. We turn every pixel in your image into a 3D points and then instance a shape, in this case lines, onto those points. And the size of each shape is controlled by the source image pixel brightness or luminance, and that's the core idea of this effect. And what the benefit of this approach, since it's a 3D dithering, we only use the image as the blueprint and recreate the structure with the 3D geometry, which is vectors, and these produce perfect, sharp, scalable dots that never look pixelated, which is fundamentally different from 2D dithering, which you can only use square, and it's basically recreating from the existing pixels, so have a limitation on the resolution part. You can master this entire network by understanding these three parts. The first is one-to-one sample correspondence relationship, which is the ratio, downsample, and the grid. The ratio is the shape of your original video or image. It can be 16 to 9, 9 to 16, or square. Downsample is how many points you want across the screen, so your density control. And the grid is the final point layout, which is calculated automatically from the first two. Let me show you with the exact numbers we're using today. Let's say we have a standard 90/20 by 90/80 video here. We can get the information here. And if I set the downsample to 100, which is the information here, downsample to 100, and which means I want 100 points across the screen. And the grid, which is here, will be automatically calculated as 100 columns and 56 rows. And the rows is calculated by 100 divided by the ratio, which is 100 divided by 1.7, roughly 56 rows. And we end up with this 100 by 56 grid that is exactly the same shape as our original video or image, just 90.2 times smaller. We have to have these three parts all work together to get the matching right for this effect to work. Very important, most important thing. And then the second step is the luminance-driven scaling. In this case, I'm using the luminance value of each pixel and use it to control the scale of the corresponding line. So brighter pixel makes bigger lines, darker pixel makes smaller lines. Finally, geometry instancing. We're going to use those numbers as the luminance numbers as scale instructions, and we're going to instance those 3D lines onto every point of our grid. So when you see all those thousands of lines together, the original image emerge as a lamp pattern. First, add a movie file in. Drop any video or image of you want to use. Here I'm using the countdown asset from my Patreon, and add a level top change the brightness, gamma, contrast, etc. Try out what works for you, and the idea here is to adjust the tonal of the image input. This will make our line pop small by increasing the difference between the bright and dark areas. Then we need to extract that luminance from the source image, add a top to top, and then drag it in. And then we have RGBA from that image, from that video. Add a select only the RGB. We don't need the A. And then we connect it to a mask. Get the combined channels, choose average, and this will give us the luminance number, and we add to a rename. Since it's not R anymore, it's luminance. So we're gonna add luminance here. So this is our luminance we use to control the line size. All right, step 2, we need to set up the global grid density control. We're gonna add a grid, and in here the rows and columns, remember we have the sample, we add a chop constant, set up the grid density or grid columns, grid columns, and then use that in the columns here. Let's put 100 for example, and now we have 100 columns. And we also need to get the ratio. To get the ratio of the original input, we need to use the info and move file in, and then in here we're gonna get the resolution X and resolution Y. So this is the info connected to a mask, and combined channel divide. This is the ratio. Again, we're gonna rename it to ratio. All right, and then we're gonna use this ratio here to calculate the rows, which is the grid divided by the ratio, which is 56. All right, and another important thing, to keep the ratio, we also need to use the ratio chop here, so that is perfectly aligned, not stretched. Very important. And then once the grid is ready, let's also make the downsample for our original image. Here, add a resolution, and in here choose custom resolution, and the resolution here is the same as what we have here, which is grid columns and this number, and in here choose the nearest pixel. All right, so this is our downsample. All right, very important. You can mark as red, and also the ratio is important. Okay, those 3. Now step 3, let's create our geometry instancing. First, add a rectangular. Okay, I just copied from my old network because I don't remember. Add a rectangular. This is the size I'm using. Feel free to use other ones or just copy mine. And then connect to a transform, uniform scale 0.01. Add a geo comp and the camera, material, constant, and the render material. All right, and then in the instance here, we open the instance and we're gonna put our grid position into the translate. So first we need to transfer our grid into the chop data. Add a soft chop, and here we have the XYZ position. We're gonna reference here and select TX, TY, TZ. already see some lines. And then we're gonna use our luminance to control the scale. And then we're gonna here only chop Y. I have some error. Sample. Okay, the sample is not correct. What did I do wrong? Oh, actually here, very important thing. Remember to choose output as single channel set, and in the crop here, choose full image. So by default, touchdesigner will give you the rows, but then the full image are able to get all the pixels we have. And then if you choose full image here, we are able to get all the pixels for this image. Very important. You can check the things. Output as single channel set, toggle on, crop full image, so that we don't have that error anymore. I hope. Why we still have the error? Alright, let's see. I think we have the same number. No? We have how much sample? Well, that's a lot. Oh, actually, downsample. See, so many mistakes. We need to use the downsampled one to get the correct. Remember, let's recap. This grid and this downsample need to be 1-to-1 match. Now everything is correct. Yeah. The last bar in the camera here, we're gonna change the view to perspective to orthographic, and then I also change the width to be a little smaller, like so that it fits the screen. And then fun part, you just add composition, different ways to combine it with original image to make it look nice. The last part, I add different composition. You can just view it here, so I don't recreate because I'm lazy. What I did here, a few composition, I changed it to mono, and then I use a level to increase brightness, gamma, so it looks more, more contrast. And I combine these two texture using operation overlay, add to transform, add a red color, add a blue color. In the end, you can use the layout, compose 4 of them together, and then alignment here, choose grid rows, and then you have a composition like me, basically just construct of the original video in a mono color, and this is our texture composed on top of our mono video, and then I change the color to red and blue. Hope you enjoy, and I will see you next time. Maybe we should do a series of creating these patterns.
If you want the exact project files, remix ready templates, and commercial use assets, they're all on my Patreon. Download and project notes included, so you can remix faster and focus on what you do best, and support me to create more visual assets for you. See you next time!